In this video, I want to show you how you can turn your WeWeb web application into a real native iOS application with real native features and publish it to the Apple App Store in just a snap. So let's get right started with that. So first of all, as we can see, we are here in our WeWeb project. You can use a new project or an existing project. It works with both. So what we want to make sure is that we have the Despia plugin installed on that project so that we can access native device functionalities. So I'm going to go to Assets here, and I'm going to go to Marketplace. And in the Marketplace, I'm looking for Despia. And then I'm going to add that Despia plugin, just like this, and it will now have that added. Now, you probably want to reload your editor so it updates everything, so everything is fresh. And now you can add that plugin to the page where you want to have the native functionalities on. Now, probably every page of your project should now have the Despia element added to it. So the way you do that is you go on Add, you go on Assets, and you drag this Despia native element on the top of every page. It should be the first element. This will give that page native functionalities. So now if I want to use, for example, a native functionality, I can go to this button here and add it under that. And then if I want to use native functionalities, I can create a new workflow. I'm going to do execute component action. And then I can select this Despia plugin element. And now I can select all my native functionalities. In this example, let's do a local push notification. And then I'll schedule it for 10 seconds. It will be called, the title will be WeWeb, and the message will be, this is cool. Look at that. So the nice thing is you can now set up real native iOS app functionalities and also Android app functionalities directly inside of the native WeWeb workflow editor. You don't have to leave WeWeb to set that up, and that is really what makes it truly amazing. So let's close that and let's deploy this application now. So we can kind of like get this connected with Despia, because this is what we'll be using to ship it to the App Store, to the App Store Connect. So now our WeWeb project is building, and in the meantime, we want to create a Despia account and set up a project. So inside of Despia here, it will say, get started for free. You can click on there, you can log in, and then we're going to create a new project. So let's call this My WeWeb, right? And now I'm going to open the URL to my WeWeb web application. I'm going to copy that URL now. And now I'm going to go back into Despia, and I'm going to paste the URL right inside of here. And then I can edit the bundle ID if I want to have my own branding in there, but I'm just going to keep it the way it is right now. Let's create a new application. And now it creates the application, and we are inside of here. So now we need to have an iOS app icon. So I will go to App Icon and Branding, and I will upload iOS icon. Now, very important, if you don't do the step correctly, your application build will fail and you will risk losing all your credits for that build. You need to make sure that the icon dimension is exactly 1024 by 1024, and it can absolutely not have any transparent background. When you export that image, and it needs to be a PNG, very important, PNG is required. When you export that PNG, you need to make sure it's exactly 1024 by 1024, no transparent background, no alpha channels. That's what sometimes the setting is also called. So be very careful when you export that it doesn't have transparent background, like no rounded borders on that PNG. The App Store does that for you, and it needs to be high quality, exactly 1024 by 1024. If you don't do this correctly, your application will be failing in the build process. So now I have already an icon that meets that requirements. So let's upload that here. And now we need to also upload the splash screen icon. So under splash screen layout, we will need to upload a GIF file for the splash screen. And the important thing with the GIF file actually is this needs to have transparent background. That is actually mandatory. So let's go on, done. And let's make this a little bit bigger. We can adjust the size if we want. There you go. We can even add a little animation. You see, I just did like a little quick wiggly animation. I thought that was fun. There you go. And there are more native stuff that we can configure, like one signal integration for remote push notifications. We have a video about that. Revenue CAD, we also have a video about that, and much, much more. We're just going to skip that. But one thing I want to tell you that we should absolutely do is full screen mode, because this will allow you to use the full screen real estate. And then we can work with safe areas directly inside of WeWeb to set that up. So let's do full screen mode on. And then because our application is white and I'm not planning to have a dark mode in here, I'm just doing the dark mode text color to be black and the dark mode background color also to be white. Most WeWeb apps that I've seen are only in light mode or only in dark mode. So when both of those modes look the same, make sure that your light mode and your dark mode system settings do have the same color, so there's no content flashing and all that kind of stuff when the user switches modes, because your application only has one mode, right? That's just a system level setting that we have to make sure that it's set up correctly. Otherwise, it won't look that nice, and we want to make sure that we have the nicest native mobile application built using WeWeb in this video. There you go. That's pretty much everything that we need. Now, there's so much more than we can do. We can set up biometric app lock, and we can do all those exciting native functionalities. Now, a must that you should probably include is web app synchronization. This will allow you to do app deep linking using app links and associated domains. And then there are all those native SDKs that we can set up, as we already did here in the WeWeb workflows, natively with all those native functionalities. They're native in the WeWeb editor, and they actually trigger native iOS and Android functionality. So it's double native essentially. There you go. So now let's go back into the Despia editor, and we have targets, app clips, smart widgets, a lot of stuff that we can configure. I'm just going to skip all of that. And now we need to link this with our Apple developer account. So let's go on publish app here. And now I already have an Apple developer account, but I'm just going to go through the process as if I would not have one linked already. If you already have one linked to your Despia project, you can skip the next couple of minutes. You can go to the next chapter of this video, but if you haven't already, you want to follow this very closely. You see this button, add new developer account, click on there and scroll down. It's an accordion, and then we can link a new developer account. So I'm just going to walk you through the process of connecting it with our native AppStore Connect integration. It's super simple. You just go to the AppStore Connect. You can get there using the domain appstoreconnect.apple.com. And then we're going to go on users in access, and then we're going to go to integration. So I go to users in access, and now I go to integrations, and you have that right inside of here. And we are now going to add a new integration. I'm going to call that integration Despia WeWeb in this example, but I would just call it Despia. But I have lots of Despia integrations set up, so I'm just going to call it Despia WeWeb for the sake of this video. And I'm going to make sure that I'm selecting App Manager. It needs to be App Manager. If it's not App Manager, the build will fail. So you need to make sure that that is 100%. So let's generate this now. Now we have that connected. So now let's copy the issue ID. That's this ID right inside of here. And let's get this hooked up with Despia. So we're just going to paste the issuer ID inside of here. Now, the next thing will be the API key ID. Now, we have generated this API key inside of here. So we need to copy the key ID. You can find that one right inside of here. So let's go back inside of here and paste the connect API key ID inside of here. And now we need to download the API key, which it's a file. We can only download it once. So you want to make sure that you store it and save it in a protected space. I'm just going to move this right inside of here on my desktop. And now let's go back to Despia, and we're just going to upload the API key right inside of here. Let's go on done. You see there is this little check mark, so it was uploaded successfully. And now the last thing is we need the development team ID. Now the AppStore Connect actually doesn't give you the team ID. If you want to get the team ID, you got to go to developer.apple.com, log in through your developer account, and then click on any of those tabs. You can just click on identifiers, and then in the top right corner, next to your company name or to your personal name, it will give you this random ID, and that is your team ID. Now, why did Apple do it that complicated? I have no clue, but someone thought that would be smart. So now, after we pasted that in here, you will see that we can now click on Link with Apple. Now this will take a little bit, and now we have this developer account linked. So I can now select the development account that should build and sign this application. Despia automatically handles code signing and all of that for you. So it's one click, super simple process. And now the last thing that we need to add into Despia is the AppStore app ID. And for that, we need to create an app listing. Now, before we create the app listing, we actually need to register all those bundle IDs inside of here. And that's a little bit of a process, but I'll walk you through that step by step. And once you've done it the first time, you can just do this blindfolded the second time. So now we are already at the right place. We're at the Apple developer account and we are at identifiers. Now, in case you couldn't track how we got here, let's start again from scratch. We are right now at developer.apple.com. We're now going on account. It's up here. And now we're going to go on certificates, IDs, and profiles. And under here, we see this tab identifiers. Beautiful. And now we can create a new identifier. So let's start by registering our application. Let's go on identifiers and let's click on this plus here. Now we're registering an app ID. Let's go on continue. It will be an app. Continue. And now we will be able to assign an app ID for this application. Now we have a bundle ID. So let's go back to Despia. And now we just need to copy paste the information over. So as you can see, Despia gives us an app bundle ID. So I'm just going to copy this one here, and I'm going to go back to Apple Developer, and I'm going to paste it inside of here. And I'm just going to name this based on my application. Let's do my WeWeb. That's my app. Okay, and now I need to enable capabilities. We're going to enable app attest. There you go. App attest, that is important. And then we're going to add another one that is also important, app groups. We're going to add associated domains. That is always mandatory. All of them that we're doing, you have to do them. You can't skip them. And then we need to scroll a little bit more down. And we need to look for iCloud. It should be here. No, that's not it. There you go. We need to select iCloud. And we need to select the first one, include CloudKit support. Requires Xcode 6. There you go. Perfect. And then we will scroll down a little bit more and we will find push notifications. And very important, it's mandatory. You need to enable broadcast capability. There you go. That is required. Beautiful. Let's click on there again. Okay, perfect. Now that is pretty much it. I would not suggest to do sign in with Apple right now. Do that once your application is working on TestFlight, because if you enable it, it can sometimes cause some code signing issues if you have not already implemented login with Apple. And in order to implement it correctly and debug it, you need to have the application on your phone. So I always suggest to skip that part and add it after you have it built, because you can always edit the capabilities without breaking the application. There you go. And that is pretty much everything that we need. So now we can go on continue and register. This will now register our core bundle ID. Now, when you have as much applications as I have, you want to benefit from this little search box here that you can click on, and you can look for my WeWeb. And then if you enter, that will only give you the bundle IDs that are relevant for the project that you're currently working on, making your life a whole lot easier. So that's a little tip that I think is very helpful, because now we got to register all those bundles here to be registered for the build process. Now, it's a little bit of work, but it's less work than if you would build this yourself in Xcode. So, and plus you would have to do this even if you build this yourself in Xcode. So it's just a little bit of a process, but it's just filling out forms. Okay, so now we have this one signal target. This will enable the native module for push notifications, to be more precise, remote and broadcast push notifications. So we are going to click on this button to copy the push bundle ID. And now we're going to go back to Apple Developer, and I'm going to register a new identifier. So I'm going to click on plus. It will again be an app ID. I'm going to continue and continue again as an app. And now it'll load a little bit because Apple likes loading. And now we're just going to paste our bundle ID that Despia has generated for us. And now I'm going to give it a descriptive name. And this example, my WeWeb one signal bundle ID. There you go. Trust me, naming it correctly like this the first time will save you a lot of pain and headache once you have multiple applications on your account. It's worth setting it up correctly. Okay, now for this bundle ID that is intended to send push notifications, we need to enable a few things. We need to enable app groups because we're using app groups to link this through an app group with the core bundle ID that we just created one step before this. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, that's completely fine. Just follow the instructions. You'll get it after the second bundle ID that we've registered. There you go. And then we need to enable associated domains so your deep links in your push notifications work, meaning you can click on a push notification and it will open a specific page in your application. Then we're going to scroll a little bit more down. And obviously, because we're sending push notifications, we need to look for the push notification capability. There you go. Let's check push notifications. And again, broadcast capability. That's all we need for the one signal target for the push notification integration. So let's go on continue and let's register this. Now we have it. Now again, I would suggest always look it up, my WeWeb. This will make your life way easier managing all your bundle IDs if you got good naming with the core app name set up. So now we have this core bundle ID. This is for the whole application. And we have this one signal bundle ID that's for the one signal module because we are importing multiple native modules into our application that will give us native functionalities for core functionalities. Like some of the core functionalities are push notifications, app clips, widgets, share into app. Those are core parts of the application, not small stuff like Face ID or something. Those are small little things, little SDKs, but those are really modules. They need to be conditionally added and removed to the app. And if you have those modules in there without using them, they can cause rejection. So this is why we need to register them. So you will have the ability in Despia to include and exclude them, like we're doing here. I can include and exclude and include and exclude and include and exclude, right? So we need to register them so we can do this so you pass the review process. So that is very important to understand why we actually need to go through that little bit of work. But now we need to create another identifier because if you look back into the Despia editor, you will see this one signal target also has a push app group. So we also need to register an app group, not just a bundle ID. It's also related, a child of this one signal target here. So let's copy this one signal app group here, this push app group. And we're now going to go back to certificates, identifiers, and profiles in Apple. And this time it's not an app ID. Don't do that. We need to scroll down a little bit, look for app groups, and select app groups. That's exactly what we're going to do. And then we're going to go on continue. Now for this app group, we're going to paste the identifier that we have just copied inside of here. And then we're going to give it a description. I like to call it something like app group for my WeWeb for one signal. Something like this. App group for my WeWeb for one signal. So you can clearly search based on, what's going on there. Let's continue and register. Now we have a lot of loose parts. We have our bundle ID that's loose in the Apple account. We have our push bundle ID that's loose in the Apple account in our app group for that push module that's also loose. They're not connected yet. So we need to link them. The way we link this app bundle ID with the push bundle ID is by relating them with the app group, with the group ID. So this is a little bit of a thing that you got to figure out, but once you get it, it's actually quite simple. So let's look for my WeWeb, right? And now inside of here, we need to make sure that we go to app IDs, and under app IDs, we're going to look for my WeWeb. Sometimes the Apple interface is a little bit confusing, but don't give up. We're here to help. Now let's go to my WeWeb one signal bundle ID. I will click on there, and now we will go to the app group and link it with its app group. So you see how we have this app groups capability enabled here? We're going to click on this configure button, and we're now going to look for my WeWeb inside of here. And now you see we have app group for my WeWeb for one signal. So we need to enable that because we are right now in the one signal bundle ID. The one signal bundle ID will be linked with the one signal app group. And then in the next step, we'll go into the core app group that will be also linked with the one signal app group. So the one signal bundle ID and the core bundle ID for the whole application are linked to each other through the app group. It's like the duct tape binding them together, if that makes sense, right? There you go. So we link this, we'll continue, we'll save this, and we'll confirm. And then we go back here into the core bundle ID, my WeWeb in this example, and we will go to its app groups and link that with the one signal app group. So we're going to look this up here, and we will link this one now also with the one signal app group here. Now, the core bundle ID links with the one signal app group, and the one signal bundle ID that's also related to the same application also links with the one signal app group, and that's how you create the relation between the core application and its module, if that makes sense. Now we need to repeat the process for a bunch of other modules. 3 more. Now, Clips is a little bit different, so let's do that right now. Now we need to actually register the app clip module. So I'm going to copy the clip bundle ID, even though we only need the word clip actually, because the interface is a little bit different. But don't worry about it. Let's just copy this one. App clip target. Now, what we got to do is we got to create a new identifier. And again, like we did before, we start with an app ID. Let's go and continue. But now here's where it is a little bit different. Instead of clicking on app, we're going to be clicking on app clip because now it's an app clip. It's a different type. It's only different for app clips. Everything else will be an app. Let's go and continue. And now you will see I need to relate it with the parent ID. So the interface is a little bit different. But don't worry. We do my WeWeb, and you will see we need to take my WeWeb, the core bundle ID. So my WeWeb with the core bundle ID. And now the product name will be the bundle ID, but without the bundle ID. Essentially, if you want to have it easier to remind yourself, it's just clip with a capital C. It will always be the same because it automatically gets it. So Apple just has a different interface. On their backend, they're building it like this, but you just need to input it like this, just saying clip with a capital C, because they handle that for you. Because you see now it's being built like this, which is exactly what I would paste in there. So they just have a little bit of a different interface. So I just wanted to point that out. So now as you can see, we have that ID registered. And now I'm going to go inside of here and do my WeWeb app clip bundle ID. Just like that. There you go. And now we need to enable a few more features. For the app clip, we need to enable, first of all, always app groups, so we can link them with the app group and link its app group with the core bundle ID to create the relation. And then we're going to go to associated domains, so we can have deep linking into the app clip, meaning if we open a link, it opens that page in the app clip if that's something that we set up. And then we are going to go to push notifications, because that is also something that we need to set up. So the app clip technically could also register and send push notifications for a specific time window, because they do have some limitations. Now, even if you are not using an app clip, you still have to register this, because it has to be registered on the Mac M2 build machine in Xcode in order to uninclude it, because you need to register it so it can remove it as a development target correctly, so you're not getting any issues with app review, because they say, hey, you have the app clip target in there, but you're not utilizing it, right? So you need to set it up to remove it and make sure it's not included. But then, if you ever want to include it, it's just the push of the button in the Despia editor. So it's like 5 minutes extra setup when you register, but if you ever want to migrate, it's just the push of a button. There you go. Now, if we look up my WeWeb again, you will see that WeWeb, you will see that now we have this app clip bundle ID registered. So now let's go back to identifiers. And now for this app clip bundle ID, we need to register again an app group. So let's click on app group. And now we're going to go on continue. And we're going to now put the identifier inside of here. So if we go back to Despia, we now see the app clip app group, because this app clip module also has its own app group, as all of them have. So I'm just going to copy this app group. I'm going to go back to certificates, identifiers, and profiles. I'm going to paste it inside of here. And now I'm going to give it a name. Let's say app group for my WeWeb for app clip. There you go. Let's continue and register. Now we're going to look up my WeWeb, and we do need to make sure that we are on app IDs. Sometimes Apple's UI is confusing. Let's do my WeWeb. There you go. And now we need to go inside of this app clip bundle ID, link it with the app clip app group, and then do the same thing with the core bundle ID to create the relation between those bundles. So now let's go to app groups, because that is a capability that we have registered. Let's go on configure, and let's look up again my WeWeb. Now we have 2 to choose from. In this example, because we are in the app clip bundle ID, we can only select the app group for WeWeb for app clip. So we can only select the app clip app group, because the app clip can only be linked with the app clip to create the relation correctly. Let's continue, and let's save that, and let's confirm. Now we're just going to look up again my WeWeb, and we're now going to go to the core bundle ID for the entire application. And now once that is correctly opened here, we are going to set that up to create the final piece of that relation. So we're going to go back to app groups, we're going to go to edit, and we're going to look up WeWeb. And now we will relate it with the app clip for my WeWeb. There you go. So now this creates the relation. Let's save and confirm this. Perfect. Now they are all related each other. So we're halfway across the finish line. So now the last parts are share target and smart widgets. So for share target, it's the same process like we did plenty of times now. Let's copy the share bundle ID. Let's copy its bundle ID. And let's create a new identifier. Let's go to app IDs. Let's go on continue. It will be an app. Continue. It will load a little bit. Now we're going to paste the bundle ID. I'm going to do a description. So this will be my WeWeb share bundle ID, just like this. And then we will only enable app groups for those ones. The last 2 ones, the share and the widget, only need app groups capability. They don't need any other fancy feature. Okay, share, perfect. Let's continue and register. Now we're going to create a new identifier for this share extension. That will be an app group, right? Because every bundle has its own bundle and its own app group. to create the relation. Now we're going to go to the share app group, and we will copy the share app group. Now we will paste this inside of here, and I will name this app group for my WeWeb for, and this will be share. There you go, for the share into app. Let's continue and register. Now we need to link it. So let's go back to app IDs. Let's search for my WeWeb. And now let's go to the share bundle ID and link that with the share app group. So share is linked with share. Now let's go to the app groups here, go on configure, and let's look up my WeWeb. And now we see we have the share app group inside of here. So we link the share bundle ID with the share app group and go on continue and save and confirm this. There you go. Now comes the next part. We got to go back to my WeWeb here, my WeWeb, and enter this. Now we're going to go to my WeWeb, the core bundle ID for the entire application. And we are now, once this is successfully loaded, are going to go back to the app groups. I will go on edit, and we're going to look up my WeWeb. And now I'm going to link it with the share target. So the core is linked with all of the ones that are related to the my WeWeb one in this example. Let's continue, save, and confirm. Fantastic. Now, here comes the last one. We almost made it. Now we have the widget bundle ID. So I'm going to copy the widget bundle ID here. And now let's add an identifier. This will be an app ID again. Let's go on continue. This will be an app. Let's go on continue. And now we will just enable and set this up again with only app groups. Let's paste the bundle ID. Let's go on description. This will be widget. Let's do my WeWeb widget bundle ID. There you go. And now the only capability that this one needs are app groups. There you go. Let's go on continue and register. There you go. Now we're going to look up under app IDs. No, actually, I forgot. We now need to register the app group. See, it happens to the best. It's quite a confusing process. Sometimes you forget one of them. So make sure you double check after you're done everything to make sure that the build will be 100% a success. So now we need to do the app group. Let's copy the app group for the smart widget here. And let's go inside of here. Let's go to app groups, continue, paste this inside of here. And then I'm going to do a app group for my app for widget. And let's continue and let's register. Now I'm going to go back to app IDs and I'm going to look up my WeWeb, just like this. Now we're going to go to the WeWeb, my WeWeb widget bundle ID. And we are now going to link the app group with its app group. So this widget bundle ID will be linked with the widget app group. So we're going to go now to app groups. We're going to go to configure. We're going to look for my WeWeb. Let's enter that. And now we are looking for, there you go. Oh, I called the other one my app. I gotta rename that. But in this example, it will be my app for a widget because I named it wrong, but it will be this one. The widget will be linked with the widget because of this here. Let's continue and let's save. There you go. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to my WeWeb here, my WeWeb, and we're going to go to the core bundle ID for the entire application. So let's go to my WeWeb. And now in there, we're going to go to the app groups that we have right inside of here. We're going to go on edit. We're going to look for my WeWeb and we're going to link it here with the widget bundle, with the widget app group. Let's continue save this, and confirm. And now to make it 100% perfect, let's go to app groups here and let's rename the one that I accidentally named incorrectly. Let's do my WeWeb. And let's go to app group for my app. And this is not my app. This needs to be my WeWeb. So the name is correct. And we'll save this. You don't have to do that because I don't think you're going to enter it incorrectly. But I did enter it incorrectly. So now that all the bundle IDs are registered, the only thing we need to do is go to apps under appstoreconnect.apple.com. Click on plus, new app. We're going to give this a name. Let's do my WeWeb. And I'm just going to do made in Despia. Let's go iOS. And then primary language. You choose your language. In this example, it's English US here. And now I'm going to look for my bundle ID. Now I have a bunch, so this will take a little bit. My WeWeb. So we take the core bundle ID here. This will be, com.despia.myweweb. The core one for the entire application. If you're unsure on which one it is, you can go back to the publishing panel in Despia, and you will find it here as the first one inside of there. So let's go back here to AppStore Connect. Let's add a SKU. What's the SKU? It's just your app name, all in caps and without any spaces. My WeWeb. There you go. Let's give it full access and let's create this. Now it will create the store listing for the App Store, and then we can link this and build this. So now let's go under General to App Information. And now under App Information, we have this Apple ID inside of here. Let's copy this Apple ID because this is our app ID, our listing ID on the App Store. And let's go to the Despia editor, scroll all the way down in the publishing panel, and under Build Configuration, App Store App ID, you will just paste this ID that you copied that is named Apple ID, this one inside of here, under App Information. It's this one right inside of here. Perfect. So now we have this all set up, that it's linked. We have the development team. All the bundles are correctly registered. We have the icon uploaded, exactly 1024 by 1024, no transparent background. We have a splash screen GIF that is animated. Doesn't have to be animated. Important is it has transparent background. We have a nice color setup. We have a full screen, and as the status bar, the colors are all correctly configured the way we want them. So we are all good now to build this. And we already inside of our WeWeb project have native functionalities set up. But the nice thing is you can change those native functionalities and the logic of your WeWeb app all the time, even after your app is built and deployed, because Despia gives you updates over the air, meaning you can change your WeWeb app without having to rebuild and re-go through the build process. And you just have it deployed immediately to the App Store without having to wait days and days for app review to update it for you. So you get remote over-the-air updates. Now, with that being said, we are all done with the setup. So now I can just go and publish project. And the nice thing is I can actually do it for free, because when you create a new Despia project, it gives you one free build to set this up that you can test. That is why it is very important to make sure that you set it up correctly. So your one free test build that costs us a little bit of money, quite a little bit to be fair, is well used, and it actually gets you into TestFlight so you can test your application. So you want to make sure that you spend the time into setting this up correctly. Because now what's happening by clicking this button, it's actually connecting to an M2 build machine, and it's now building your real iOS application inside of Xcode. So you don't need to have a Mac computer, you don't need to know Xcode, you don't even have to open Xcode. It will essentially, a robot somewhere in a warehouse with a lot of Mac minis is now going into Xcode and building the application for you, code signing everything, and then publishing it for you to the App Store. It's all fully autonomous. So now this can take up to half an hour, sometimes even an hour. So let's just let it sit, and I'll be back in a second. It will be a quick cut for you. So I got great news. The build was now successful, as you can see right inside of here. And we can now continue with the next steps so we can test this on our real device using TestFlight. So now if we go to AppStore Connect, there is this panel TestFlight under our application listing page. And we see it says ready to submit. That's a good sign. That means it was already processed and it was successful. From the moment your build was successful, it can take up to 10 more minutes for it to be ready to submit because the App Store does some processing, they scan your application, make sure it's secure, and all that kind of stuff. So now, if we want to test this right now internally, we want to create an internal testing group. So let's call this internal. There you go. And we're going to go on create. And now we need to invite users. Let's go inside of here. And now I'm just going to invite myself. And I'm going to add that. There you go. Now I'm inside of here. Now, because I just invited myself to the application, and the application is already linked with our internal testing team, I will get an email right now from Apple on my phone that you want to just open, to be precisely from TestFlight, telling me that I can now test the application inside of TestFlight. Let me share that with you. I just received this email that I can test the application. So I will go on View in TestFlight, and now it will open TestFlight, and it will open this application. And as you can see, the beautiful thing is with Despia, if you upload the icon, it automatically already, the App Store optimizes the icons for liquid glass. So you see you have the WeWeb icon now in liquid glass effect. So if you install that, this is why it takes a little bit, they got to use AI and all that. But there you go. It's now installing the application. I can open it. And now as we can see, I got to allow all that kind of stuff. And now I got the application inside of here. How cool is that? And here comes the best part. We have this runtime by Despia watermark. So if you want to get rid of that Despia watermark, and if you want to get rid of the Despia license stuff, the message when you open the application, you can now go into the Despia editor and upgrade to ship faster. You'll be able to remove the watermark, access lifetime updates, export the entire source code, and deploy in one click to the App Store or Android Play Store. And there are no monthly fees and no subscriptions. It's a simple one-time purchase. So great if you're doing this for clients. There are no monthly fees, subscriptions, none of that. It's just a one-time payment to get it unlocked for your application, to get that license. But let's test our application, right? So now let's click on here and it should now schedule some push notifications. So if we go inside of here, we will see that the My WeWeb app is now, first of all, sending me a push notification because this is part of the Despia watermark where we say, hey, click on this notification to report any issues. But as you can see, now here are the native push notifications added from the WeWeb action, from the workflow that we have added in our application. I can click on there, it'll open the application again. Now, here comes the best part. I can just close the application. I got the application inside of here, right? But I can now make updates over the air. So let's say we have this button, right? I want to add another button. So let's duplicate the button. Let's call this button, what should we do? Face ID, right? Okay, let's do Face ID. And now let's go and execute component action. And I will now do start biometric verification, right? And now let's add an image on this page that's top secret. So let's add image. That's a big image. Let's give it a fixed width of like 10 rem. They don't do rem at WeWeb. Let's do 200 pixels. There you go. Let's upload an image here, right? Let's see, how do I upload? Yeah, there you go. Let's upload an image. And let's upload the new. Oh, that's nice. I could crop that. That is neat. Okay. Let's take that image. And now we have the new Despia logo inside of here. So now let's create a variable here called face ID, right? And the default value will just be empty. Okay. And now we are going to go into the Despia plugin component. And if you want to learn more step by step how to set up Face ID, how to set up all that stuff, we have videos about that. If you go to weweb.despia.com, you will get step-by-step videos for everything you can imagine. Like if you want to set up biometric verification, we got the whole documentation with images, step-by-step, everything explained with a step-by-step video, and that is time-stamped and with chapters and all that. But I'm just going to do a speed run through this here just to show how updates over the air work, because now the application is deployed on your device, but you can still make updates from the WeWeb editor without having to push another update and resubmit it and rebuild it for the App Store. So now inside of this component here, we have the events here. We have this on biometric change event, right? And we can use this to change the variable. So I do change variable value, and then I do Face ID, and now the value of this will be the event, and this event will have the state like success, failure, all that stuff. So now I'm just going to take this image, and I'm just going to conditionally render this image based on if Face ID equals success. And that's false, so it will hide the image. So let's go on deploy, publish to subdomain. Now I'm making my app update directly in WeWeb. And now if I go back to my native application, I'll just be able to open the application after the WeWeb deployment is done. And I got it all automatically set up. And then it just updated it without having to wait days for app review to approve it. And it's 100% store compliant. So let's open the application. Got a nice animation here. We'll say you're using a development license. Please upgrade before publishing to the App Store. We let you upgrade for a one-time fee to get rid of all of that, to use it commercially, all of that. And then you'd go on OK. And now it loads the application. Now I can do Face ID. It will say, do you want to allow my WeWeb to use Face ID? Allow. It scans my face. And now because my face was successful, it shows the secret image. Now if I do Face ID again and hold it into here, right, it can't recognize. I cancel it. If it canceled, it hides the image because it's not successful anymore. So how cool is that? You can now implement Face ID inside of here. And if you cancel it, it's gone. And then you got those native functionalities that you can set up directly from the editor that you already love, then directly within WeWeb. How amazing is that? And you can set that all up with your WeWeb variables and link that to your native WeWeb app state. So you don't have to leave the WeWeb editor anymore to build your dream native mobile application with all those amazing native features. And there are another 5 features coming in the next couple of days that are being added to the plugin. So there's more and more coming every month. So this list is just growing and growing and growing. And our goal is to have hundreds of native features for WeWeb at some point. So there you go. But we already have all of them that your application will ever need. We're going to add some silly ones like flashlight and all that though. But there you go. This is how you set up native iOS applications, how you get them to run on your iPhone and all of that. And now inside of the App Store Connect, if you want to publish this to the App Store, there are a few things that you can do. You can create an external testing group like this, external, create, and then you can add a build to create an external testing group. And then you can fill all that out. What it will do is you will generate a link where I think up to 1 million testers can test your app in a public beta. So meaning in-app purchases will be free because it's a public beta, right? So you can gather some feedback from beta testers. And then if you like that, or you can skip the beta test, it doesn't matter. You can then go to prepare for submission. You will go to build. You will add your build. Select your application done. You will then fill out all the marketing materials here, the promotional text, your nice screenshots. Go to add for review. It will submit it to app review. And most of the times it will be rejected because you did some stupid mistake. Like if you open your terms of service policy link you should be opening it in an in-app tab. But some people open it in Safari. And then if it opens in Safari, Apple will give you like a silly rejection notice like, hey, we rejected your application because you open your privacy policy inside of Safari, but we want you to open it in an in-app tab. Means if you go to WeWeb, you want the tab to open as a new tab that will force it to open in an in-app tab. When you build your first application with Apple, they're going to do like cherry picking. They're going to find the most stupidest stuff to give you rejection first. They usually do it like for 1 or 2 times for like small, stupid stuff that you can just fix like this. You'll respond, say, hey, now the link's open in an in-app browser, and then they will tell you something like, yeah, you should add a mobile menu bar. We don't want sidebars, add a mobile menu bar. Okay, you go into WeWeb, you make a mobile menu bar. They actually have nice pre-built components, so it will save you a bunch of reworking effort. So you just casually do this. Now you got the mobile menu bar, resubmit it to the app review team, say, hey, we now added the menu bar with updates over the air. It's even simpler now and even faster to go through that process. And then we'll say, okay, got it. You're on the App Store now. And then they'll never bother you again. And, it's just, I feel like they just like to poke you a little bit for your first app. Everybody who built an app will know what I'm talking about. But then once you got one app out there, it's just smooth sailing. So it's always the small, stupid stuff that gets a rejection. But the rejection is not the end of the world. It just means that Apple wants you to increase the quality and the UX of your application a little bit more to get it on there, because Apple is very obsessed about quality and luxury feeling when it comes to applications. But those are small things that they really obsess about. There are lots of bad UIs on the App Store. They don't judge your UI, they judge stupid stuff like opening a link in Safari versus an in-app tab. But there you go. After that, you'll get it approved. Despia gives you all the tools that you need to meet all the guidelines with the store, minimum functionality requirements, the store requirements for in-app purchases. We have native integrations with the Store Kit and Revenue Cat. We'll give you store mode, so you can even take Stripe payments compliantly for the US App Store. It tells you which store they're on. So Despia gives you everything you need to get approved on the App Store and get on there. But there will always be a little bit of Apple poking you for your first application. But we're here to help you. If Apple pokes you on your first application, go to the Despia editor, click on customer support, and we are here 24/7 to help you do the response, help you implement the SDK that you need to implement to please Apple, whatever you want. We reply in under 2 minutes, and I'll promise you personally we'll get your application to the App Store, as long as it doesn't have explicit content. We had some people try to get applications on there. Apple is very strict when it comes to that. But besides that, I'll guarantee you we'll get your app on the App Store. Thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to see all the exciting stuff that you'll be building with Despia and WeWeb. Take care.